Hello, everybody. So after making the previous copy of the Scratch Challenge number 10, we were kind of reviewing our work as a team. We were discussing other ways that we could approach this Scratch Challenge. And like in math, there's lots of different ways to solve problems when you're coding. So we were discussing this, and we've thought of a completely another way that we can kind of go about doing Scratch Challenge number 10. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a go at Scratch Challenge number 10 and do another way of doing a choose your own adventure, except this time using broadcasts. So like before, we're going to get started by when the flag's clicked. Let's welcome people to our activity. So we'll say welcome to the amazing choose your own adventure game. Let's make that play for a little bit there. So once we've got that set up, let's go with a another say. This time we'll follow, and I am still using our story planner, so I've just kind of said start by welcoming the user. And so now I'm going to say, do you want to go to the ocean or the desert? So and by the way, I'm just going to pop up a link right now here, and this is the link to our intro that we did, which explains the story planner. It shows you where to how to use it and how to develop it, and also shows you an example of a choose your own adventure game. But instead of redoing that, we thought we'd just kind of get into it and provide a link. So here we go. Would you like to have an ocean or desert trip? Wonderful, and we'll just show that for 3 seconds. So now we're going to get into our ask. And so we'll ask. And this is where the user will say something like type O or ocean or E or desert and wait. So once we've got that set up, this is where we're going to set up now our if then and then else if statement. So similar to before, what we're going to do is we're going to figure out if their answer is going to be D or their other answer. That would be a D for desert or an O for ocean. So if their answer is D, then we'll do something, and then otherwise, if their answer is O, we'll do something else. So if their answer is D, then do something else, or otherwise, if the answer is O, then do something else. So we can just attach this. Got that good. And then the next thing we'll do is we're actually going to change up how we're going to do it. We're going to actually do this with a broadcast. And all we're going to do here is we're going to say, okay, so if they said desert, we'll say desert. And then if the user chooses ocean, we'll go with an ocean. That's actually all the code that we're going to put inside this. We're going to stop right there. So the nice thing about it is it's pretty concise. So the next thing we need to do is in our stage, we need to load those backdrops in. So we've got the one backdrop. We've got to load up our other two backdrops. So we've got to load in the ocean. I completely forgot where it was for a second there. I'm just not reading properly. LMN. I'll put in the desert, and I'll come back to find the ocean. Oh, I can't find it. It was probably really obvious right in front of my face. And now the ocean. Oh, I was looking for ocean when it was underwater. All right, so now we've got all our backdrops. I'm going to remove this backdrop that we won't need. So now we're going to code for our backdrop. So we're going to put in our scripts. So the first thing we're going to do is when the green flag's clicked, we want to make sure that our backdrop is always going to be the playground. So this is just making sure that we are initiating our code. It's always going to be, when the flag's clicked, it'll be the brick wall. The next thing we're going to do is then we're going to bring a when I receive desert. I'm going to bring another one, and when I receive ocean. So now we've got two broadcasts. So if the user picks desert, we'll then go to looks, and we'll switch backdrop to the desert, and then if it's the ocean, we'll pick the ocean. So now we should be able to test this out. So let's go back to our sprite, and let's just make sure that this works. So green flag clicked. Welcome to the amazing Choose Your Own Adventure game. Would you like to have an ocean trip or a desert trip? So if they type O, the ocean, press the green flag, takes them back to the start, also sets the background to the playground. We'd like to have an ocean trip or desert trip. Let's make sure we try a D. Perfect. So that works exactly like we want it to work. So I'm going to just move my window over, and I click that little arrow right here. So there's an arrow right here that lets you kind of expand, and I'm going to want lots of room to code here. So the next thing we're going to do is we've now broadcast desert and ocean, and that broadcast is being received by the stage. But we're also going to use that to broadcast to ourselves. So what we're going to do is now we're going to do a when I receive desert, and when I receive ocean. And this is kind of a nice, easy way to kind of organize your code, because then it doesn't keep getting longer and longer. It kind of is a neat organization method to kind of keep our code tidy. So the next thing we'll do is let's get a little say going in here like we said we'd do. So I look back at my story planner. So if they're in the desert, we change the background to desert and say, I hope I see a scorpion. So we're going to follow that to help instruct what we're going to do. So they've gotten to the desert. And now we're going to add in the I hope I see a I hope I see a scorpion. Wonderful. So when I receive desert, I hope I see a scorpion. After I say I hope I see a scorpion, now we need to ask if they want to pet a scorpion or go for a hike. So I bring another say, and I say something like, would you like to pet a scorpion or go for a hike? So I can I'll just extend that time to 3 seconds. So then we need to then use the same we've used before. So now we ask, we say type S to pet a scorpion, or H to go for a hike. Our ask, and now we are going to set up our possibilities for answers. So we'll go to control, or pick our if then else statement. And what we'll do now is we'll set it up so we know we're going to have 2 possible answers. We know one of the answers is going to be, there's our answers. So we know one of the answers that the user might give will be an S or an H. S for petting a scorpion, H for going for a hike. So I type in, there's the S, and we would then make our broadcast here, and we'd make that a new message, and we call that message scorpion. There we go. And then we bring in another if they pick the H, and then we broadcast a new message called hike. You can see now how nice, neat, and tidy this is compared to what we were doing before. So I'm going to leave ocean kind of here, and we're going to come back to it. So we've now done the, they want to go to the ocean and the desert. We've coded the D for desert. We've coded the choice. We've asked that question. We've coded in the 2 options, the S and the H. And we said that if they pet the scorpion, it's going to be game over. And if they go for a hike, we'll say, wow, I love the view, and then have the sprite move back and forth and back and forth. So what I've got to do now is let's go back here. And I wonder if I kept my game over from before. I don't know if I kept my game over from before, and I emptied my trash, so it's not there. So we'll do this. You'll get to see how to load in the background. So So what I'm going to do is let's then do our coding for the scorpion. So we broadcast scorpion. So this is going to result in a game over situation. If you pet a scorpion, you're probably not going to survive. So let's, oops, not a when loudness. Let's do a when I receive scorpion. And what we're going to do is if you receive scorpion, we are going to go to looks and we're going to hide our sprite. So this hides our sprite. Now, don't forget, if you hide something somewhere, that means that when you initialize something, you need to remember to show it when you first start the game. Even if you know it's showing at the top, if we get to the scorpion situation where they broadcast the scorpion and hide it, the next time they run it, the scorpion will still be hidden. So we need to always make sure we show the scorpion off the very start. So we receive the broadcast of scorpion, we hide the sprite. The next thing we want to do is in the stage where we want to load a game over. So I downloaded a game over. So let's go to game over. Let's say game over image, and I think I used this green one last time. So I right click on it, I save the image. I want to save that somewhere where I know where to get it. So now I go into my stage. Instead of clicking here, which is choosing a backdrop, I choose the folder with the up arrow to upload from the file. There's my game over. I now have a new backdrop called game over. So in the code here, go to control, events. And so when I receive, when I receive scorpion, we are going to switch backdrop to game over. Perfect. So let's try that out, make sure it works. You can't see that. Welcome to the amazing choose your own adventure game. Would you like to have an ocean or desert trip? So we know we've coded for the desert. Ooh, I hope I see a scorpion. Would you like to pet a scorpion or go for a hike? Well, we know we only coded for the scorpion. Type S, game over, and the sprite hides. Perfect. When I press the flag, our background appears and our sprite appears. So the next thing we'll do is we'll now code for our hike. So we've coded for the scorpion option. Next, let's code for the hike option. So when I receive hike, so what we're going to do is we're going to have the sprite bounce back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth across the screen and pretend it's hiking. Because we're going to move the sprite, we want to know where its initial location is. So this is going to be its starting spot. We're going to want to make sure we initialize it again. So here's our location where the sprite is now. And I know that's where the sprite is now because I look over here and it tells me where the X and Y position of the sprite is. So I can then do this, and this makes sure that when they first start the game, it positions the sprite there. And now let's move this. So when I receive hike, let's get the, we'll go with motion, and we'll move 10 steps, and we'll do a if on edge bounce. If on edge bounce. So what this does is it's going to move 10 steps and bounce, but that's only going to be moving 10 steps. We want to make sure to do this forever. The only problem with this is every time it hits the edge, it's going to flip upside down, and I'll just show you what that looks like. So welcome to the amazing choose your own adventure game. Would you like an ocean trip or desert trip? So let's go with a D for desert. When we go on our hike, you'll notice he flips upside down, which makes no sense for hiking. Nobody hikes upside down. Bounce upside down. Right side up, upside down. Right side up. So you get the idea with what's wrong with this. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to put in here under motion. Where is it? It's in looks. Nope, it's probably in motion. I thought it was. In motion, we want to set our rotation style to right left. What this does is it only lets them rotate right to left, no rotating upside down or all around. So now we'll go with a D for desert. We know H for hike, and now he bounces around. Is good. Now if I go to my story planner though, I said have sprite move back and forth. That's a check mark, but I forgot to say, wow, I love the view. So let's go back to here. And we'll go to looks, and we'll get them to say, wow, I love the view. So now let's test that out and make sure it works. So we have the game over if it's scorpion and a walking around. We'll go with a D for desert. I hope I see a scorpion. Would you like to pet a scorpion or go for a hike? Let's go with a H for hike. And now speech bubble's always there. And it goes for an awesome hike. Fantastic. So now if we go to our storyboard builder, oops, that's not it. No, that's not it. So if we go to storyboard builder, that's done. That's done. Now we need to code for the ocean side of our story. So these two are done. These are all done. So now we're going to start coding for the ocean when I receive ocean. So the nice thing about the broadcast method is it lets you kind of keep things nice, neat, and organized in terms of how they work. So now we're going to broadcast for the ocean. So the ocean option, I'm going to ask if they want to, and I'm going to change that from a fly to a swim. So do you want to swim or change colors? So let's see here. When they get to the ocean, sorry, the first thing I said was change the background to underwater and then say, wow, I love the ocean. Forgot that. Knew I was forgetting something. So what I'm going to do here is change this to a wow, I love the ocean. Somebody's phone ring in there. I love the ocean for 2 seconds. Next, we'll bring another say. This time we'll ask a, would you like to swim or change colors? That's good. Next, I need to add in my ask. And in the ask, I'm going to say type S to swim or C to change colors. And again, we'll bring in our if-else statement. We'll set up our answers. So we know there's going to be 2 possible answers we're looking for. We'll be looking to see if our answer is going to be S for swim, or if our answer is going to be C for color. We can drop that S there. I'll have to bring another if to make our if-else if statement correct. There we go. And just like before now, we're going to make some broadcasts. So now if they want to, if they pick S for swim, we're going to make a new message called swim. And now we're going to go to, if they want to change colors, we'll make a broadcast called colors. And that's done from there. So now we're going to make our two new listeners for what's going to happen when they receive swim and colors. So we'll code the swim because it's a little trickier first. So when I kind of thought about swimming, I thought of doing the same thing as hiking. So we're going to bring in a forever. I'm going to have the sprite move 10 steps, and we'll have the sprite if on edge bounce. We want to set a rotation style though, instead of being right left, because you can swim upside down. We're going to go to all around. It's going to let them flip upside down. Our sprite flip upside down. And I think that's about good. So that's good. That's good. If on edge bounce, good. And the one thing that might happen, and I'll kind of go through of how we fix that. So first, our flag. Welcome to the amazing Choose Your Own Adventure game. Would you like to have an ocean or desert trip? Well, this time we want to test out the ocean side of our code. Onto the ocean. Would you like to swim or change colors? Type S to swim. And wonderful. So my question is, what happens if we press stop now? So we press stop now, he's turned and upside down. So we press the flag, well, repositions him back to the start, but he's still upside down and facing the wrong direction. So this is something we need to initialize. So what we can do to initialize that is if you go to point in direction 90, and watch what happens if I just double click on that. It reorients the sprite properly. So I'm going to actually put in a point in direction 90. And you'll notice over here I also set my rotation style to right left. And just as a good habit, a good setting for initializing your rotation style would be to have your rotation style be set at all around as well. Be careful as you add more code up here because it's going to overlap your code down beneath. Okay, so now we've got swim work, and now we are going to, so we've got if they want to not fly but swim, bounce around the screen, and now we're going to sprite changes color and costume. So here we go, we're going to change color and costume. So when I receive colors, let's go with a control forever, and we'll do a looks, we'll switch costume and change color. And these things might happen so quick it's almost unnoticeable. So sometimes I find it happen a good idea to add in a wait. Wait just a fraction of a second. We'll have them happen at the same time. So now let's test that out. Wonderful. Oh, it only switched costume. That's switch costume to Ryan 2. Let's fix that. So switch costume, let's go to next costume. Now that is awesome. So let's run it from the start. Ooh, and because we're changing the costume, we're going to want to initialize that. So because we're changing our costumes, let's make sure that we switch the costume off the very start to Ryan 1. So there's our costume initialized properly. And because we're changing our color, we can use this trick here called clear graphic effects, and that will change the color back to normal and clear any of those things as well. So now we've got, we'll just test our colors option. There's our swim. I want to go to the O for ocean. And now we're going to change colors, C for colors. And now our guy changes colors and costumes. And so now if I press stop when he's a crazy color, let's just get that to happen again. I'm going to actually press a flag when he's a crazy color and make sure that it initializes back to this costume. Ocean. I would like it to change colors. And now I'm going to press a flag when he's some crazy color. Right back to normal. So to get him to change always back to that original color, you got to clear graphic effects, and I also switched the costume back to Ryan 1. So that's how to build your choose your own adventure game, and I'll just zoom out so you can kind of see all the code there now. This is how to build your own choose your own adventure game using broadcast. So you can see it kind of cleans things up and organizes things. You can keep going now. You can, after you do these, instead of doing it forever, you can build in, you know, maybe it only repeats it 5 times, and after the repeat happens, then you do the question, and then you can do more broadcasts, and you can build this out farther and farther and farther. The nice thing about Scratch is it will extend this coding area. So if you drag the code down, it's going to give you more space. So you can just keep coding, and it's going to keep giving you real estate to be able to code within. So you don't have to worry about running out of space to code. So that's how to do a choose your own adventure game using broadcasts. If this method is more helpful for you, I hope you enjoy it and find it helpful. Good luck on your challenge, and I look forward to some pretty awesome adventure games. Make sure to tag your work with TLDSB code, and I look forward to seeing some of your work. Thank you, and take care.